Another update, another some sort of problem. But
Yes,
hey, there's some cool stuff coming around.
exactly.
I'm all about the fact that I can just calibrate whenever I want. It's great.
Yeah, you don't have to switch avatars back and forth. Yeah,
Mhm.
I know exactly what you mean. Yeah. Oh, if you want to use the camera, see that cube over
Mhm.
there?
Yeah.
If you stick your camera in there, it shows. I have invisible camera, so right now there's like a camera in front of you.
Oh,
It's like
I
it's like a
see.
talk show. But if you stick your head in there, your
Wow.
eyeballs will start bleeding.
Whoa. Wow. That's That's it's a little bit crazy. Hmm.
It's up to
That's all
you.
right. I just wanted to quickly.
Oh, okay.
How did I do it? Was I supposed to do something over there?
You put your camera and use the world icon, and it sticks the camera in the world. And then if you were streaming, you
Oh,
could on your OBS, if you put
I see. I
uh
see.
whatever the camera full screen desktop mode, it shows from the camera angle. So if you're watching my stream, people can see that like it's actual like camera angles and stuff.
Yeah, that's pretty neat.
Yeah,
All right. Unfortunately, I am not in fact streaming, but
that's
that's a
okay.
little bit better for you for now, anyway.
Yeah, it's a little thing. Most people when they see that, they're like, "What is that?" And they go in there like, "Oh, my eyes." I'm like, "Yeah, you're not
Eh.
supposed to like put your face in there." That's how I don't think a lot of people know how to do camera stuff. I'm an amateur. I've watched the tutorial.
No,
So like you can't see
it's
it, but right here there's a bunch of buttons that I can switch camera angles, like wide angle and like armchair,
nice.
couch, and then like the picture like a camera angle just for me. It's like it switches around. It's pretty cool.
Good. Also, I realize I'm not the most inconvenient spot because my you can't see my face. It's all right though.
That's okay. Okay,
I
anyway,
mean, you get to see the coolest part anyway.
yeah, exactly. Are you ready?
Yeah, I'm good to go.
All right, I'll do my intro, you know. All
Mhm.
right. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Late Night of Rebel. That's me, your host, that one Rebel, and I'm here with my guest, Miss Universe. How you doing today?
I'm doing quite well actually. I'm happy to be home from after TwitchCon.
Yeah, TwitchCon. So, before we get into certain topics and specific things I wanted to ask you, tell everyone like who are you? Who is Miss Universe? Like who is that?
I I'm the person who has way too much roleplay experience under their belt. I've been roleplaying for 15 years. I've been DMing for 3,
Wow.
and I am known for having this character named actually Cell. She is literally the universe. You'll actually you can see
Mhm.
I'm sorry. When usually when I introduce her, she walks up and she's like, "Hello, my name is the universe." Well, fuck, messing it all up, but
Miss
it's fine.
Universe, just like on
Miss
TV. Hell
No,
yeah. What
no.
do you
That was a
mean? My dad watches
that's
that.
actually a joke. It's actually a joke on that. She was originally when I was making this character, I wanted to turn into a webcomic, and one of the first pun names that she was given was, in fact, Miss Universe. But when I saw VRChat as a platform, I was like, you know what? That'll work. So I ran on and I decided to present this character in
Mhm.
that platform because I thought it would be a little bit more fun, a little bit more cool. Whoops.
Yeah.
But as for me, because I realized I got a little bit off topic, I'm also an amateur voice actor. I do a bunch of voices.
Mhm.
I act, and I'm trying to hopefully do it professionally even.
That's nice. Um well, I mean, yeah, I was going to say the joke that like you're the universe, like you're like a god or a peer. Would you describe yourself as a god role player?
I feel like that. The funny thing is that when the term God RP is not what everyone initially thought it was. VRChat as a whole is a lot of people's first time roleplay experience.
Mhm.
God moding specifically is when you never allow yourself to take any hits. You refuse to take damage in any way, shape, or form. I do not consider myself to be that, no. And in fact, when I was first presenting Cell as a character, it was back when everyone was like super light, goofy RP, nothing really serious. So
Hell
by the
yeah.
time I came in, I was like, oh, whoops. I wouldn't have come in with this character personally as my first impression, but it's okay. From the way that I use Cell,
Mhm.
I don't use it in a manner that would ordinarily rub everyone's like for a wrong. She is entirely a mentor character. She is meant to give out quests, guide people to another. In fact, that's what she mostly does more than anything. Someone's like, "Hey, I need to find a magic teacher," and she's like, "Cool, this guy knows magic. Go to them."
Yeah, yeah.
Like, she hardly ever. I never use her abilities unless I get permission, both IC and OOC in advance,
Mhm.
because I know more than anyone how annoying it is to have a really powerful character to come in and just steal the limelight from lower tier characters, because it's not about her, it's about those really low tier characters. It's their story, not hers, not mine.
Exactly.
Mhm.
I
So
know
yeah, I'm really careful. I don't consider myself to be a god or peer at all in that light.
it's funny because like in the camera angle. Sorry, I just like breaking immersion for a second. But like
You're
people can
okay.
only see like they can't see your face because you're like turning to me constantly. I know like in talking to people, you have to like
Yeah,
look them in the
yeah, yeah.
eyeballs.
Should I look this way for them?
Yeah. The cameras. I
Okay,
need
alright,
to
alright.
make it as like an actual cube so you can tell where it is. Yeah, there you go. Now people can
Mm.
see your face. But
Hello.
I think the first time you and I met was during the Club Rogue RP for Chips season
Yeah, it
4.
was.
So, and
That's actually where I was introduced.
listen, I was a different character. I was a hillbilly. I was like, "What's up, brother? What's going
Yeah.
on? What's going?" That was
Hey,
me.
Cone.
K Kona, brother.
There's
What's going? And then when you, I think, yeah,
That was what K Kona brother. I remember that.
yeah. Phil Kona started that, and
Eh.
the funniest part was when you first introduced yourself to me. You're like, "I am the universe." So mentally, I
Yeah.
was streaming, so I could just mute myself. I was like, "Get a load of this person." They're telling me they're the universe. What is this God RP? Like, what is this, man? I was like, what? I'm like, I'm just a mortal human. I don't need to play a god to be interesting. Cause I felt
Yeah,
like
yeah.
everybody else would play like a super like I
Oh,
am the
whoops.
god of judgment or something
Oh no,
ridiculous.
yeah, I totally understand. I totally understand, especially back when, like you see like literal angels running around. There's the
Yeah.
devil. There's literally God.
Mhm.
It was a weird time because I think VR Chat was in a really unique position because it, first off, doesn't
Mhm.
have any form of moderation. There is no admin. There is nobody looking over
Yeah,
people's
there's
stuff
no
and being like, you
GM
know what, this is
DMs.
good, this is bad. There is none. So, and especially during the transition when everyone was a lot of like really just silly RP, very half-hearted,
Yeah, that was
all of
me.
a sudden going into these very serious. It was a lot of people. I think it was the vast majority of it, honestly.
Well,
And then it suddenly transitioned into this really serious shit.
yeah,
A lot of the people's characters, some problems came to light.
of course. Well,
Like, yeah, like I said, I would have not introduced myself as this character if I knew it was gonna be that serious going in.
well,
I thought it was all just a lot of really like silly shit.
I think the problem was because the club just started like letting almost anyone in, and that was a big
Mm.
issue. For me, I had a bad computer, so I only can load like 12 people in the world, and when there's like 20 people, I had to
Oh
hide
no.
half the people's avatars. So I'm just talking to
Oh, so that would have
ghosts.
made my introduction even
Yeah, I
funnier
was just
because
like
it's like,
just a
hello, I'm the
ghost.
universe with a
Yeah,
random.
just
I mean,
like
I
okay.
mean, I think I rock the image pretty well.
Yeah. Well, it was that, and then, like some people who were there for the role play. I don't want to name names, but like I feel like some people are just like I'm just observing. I'm just like, so you're costing me frames by just
Mm.
standing there and saying nothing. Okay, all right. And I remember a few times where people like get
uh,
into fights at the club, and I would say
oh my
to
gosh.
Chips, I was kind of like what do you call it, like breaking the fourth wall. So I'd always be like, "What is this top 10
Mhm.
anime battles? What's going on here, brother?" Like, shit, man. Like that's what it felt like. I was like, "Ugh, I'm gonna defeat you. Ugh, I'm powering up. Ugh. I'm just like, okay, dude, just calm down. Like you constipated or something?
there
What's
was a lot of there
grunting?
was a lot of like really like over exaggerated particles back in the day.
Yeah, everyone
People,
had the
oh, and oh, You wanna know a trend that existed back then that doesn't exist now?
What trend?
Music on weapons.
Oh yeah, they would play at the epic music mix. Like,
Hmm.
God, man, I'm lucky we
I'm
moved
glad it
on from
did
that.
though, because so many people like with weapon like music on their avatars coming in with their fucking swords, and it's just two different songs blasting in your ears at the same time. Ugh.
I blame the
Plus the
Nephilims.
muting of streams too. I'm not sure if it was specifically them that started it, honestly, but
No, but it's a it's Curie Games with this cold exterior. I don't know.
well,
It's a funny
I
thing.
like the way that Curry does it
Yeah,
though.
he's funny. Well, it's funny to me because I play a not serious character, so I'm always just like goofing
Hmm.
around. He's like, "I'm gonna destroy you in like 2 seconds." I'm like, "Oh yeah, sure, buddy, whatever, man." Like, in your dreams, dude. It's the same for what was it? Purple Lotus when you go to the casino.
Mm.
Oh God, I almost got kicked out a few times. Not from like a Discord, just from the lobby because I would play a not serious character and just like I
Yeah.
basically was super Kenny K. Cohen. I took it to the next level where basically I was super realism. So like if you said if you because a lot of people
Yeah.
introduce themselves to me, they're like, oh, I'm a whatever, I'm a super demon, whatever, something. I'm just like, brother, what kind of shrooms you on? Well, give me that shit. That's some good shit, man. You smoking some good meth or something. And like anytime that someone said something
Oh.
that made no sense to me, I would just like play it off as like they're just like high on crack or something. And
Hmm.
I don't know all the jokes I said, but I would actually make people break character. They sort of laughing their asses off because I'll say the most stupidest things. Like somebody said to me, they were basically trying to explain to me that they were NPC, like they're not like a fighter or like like just like a quest
Uh,
giver. So like they were like, oh, I'm a hologram. I'm like, holy shit, where are you like Tupac or something? It's like and they couldn't stop
oh
laughing.
no.
I was like, hell yeah. So like I don't know. And like somebody said
Mm.
they're an alien. I'm like, you one of them illegal aliens. I'm gonna build a wall, brother. I want to build the greatest
Oh
wall.
no.
Tell you what. And I was like, you goddamn illegal alien, get the hell off my planet. So like I don't know. I was just yeah, it was a fun ride for me.
In that same light, that's why once I got to a point where I was a little bit more satisfied with Cell,
Mhm.
because I decided to make a new character. I actually ran around as this guy named Vincent. I don't know if you saw him, but he was weaker than a normal human. Human.
Oh,
It was honestly
human.
really fun. Oh yeah, oh yeah, like actual human, no anime plot armor. If this guy gets shot, I actually physically pulled out a phone, started a timer, and if they didn't get, and depending on where the wound was, if they didn't get to him within a certain amount of time, I killed him off.
Damn. Was this for
Mhm.
Arcadum's Forbidden Knowledge?
Oh no no no, that was Alloway. She was a human witch.
Oh
No, the this
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Vincent
I remember
guy.
that. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
I was part of that.
The Vincent guy is still a part of the metaverse. He, well, he's a lot more powerful now because that's just what happens when you have a character
Yeah, he's like
for like
Goku. You just keep
about a year,
training. Character
basically.
development.
Mhm. But yeah, when he he was walking into this place where there was fucking literally Satan walking into a pub. There was demons, devils, angels, vampires, AI made of hard light.
Wow.
You get the idea. He was
Sounds
just looking into all this shit, and he was like you, pulling a straight man routine. Like, what the fuck is all of this?
sounds like an average night at the Great Pug. I tell you what.
You're not wrong.
I mean, I think it's interesting because like it's funny because I rarely ever get to talk to you because like you're always role playing. Like, how do you keep that up every day?
Yeah.
You're just role playing, and like for me, I just goof off. Like, for me, for like going to Club Rogue, it was just for like 2 or 3 hours. That was it. Like the rest of the stream is like, all right, guys, let's go to Publix. Let's go hang out with my friends. Let's go to some horror maps or something. Let's go to a pool party. Like that was me. Like the role play thing was just like a side thing I did just for fun, and it was never like the main purpose of what I did.
Role playing is pretty much the biggest focus of my hobbies that I have. again, been doing this for 15 years, and a lot of the people on VR chat, they they haven't quite seen where some of the other roleplay communities have gone to. Like for instance, the Ark. Like, are you familiar with Ark Survival Evolved?
Yeah, I am. It's that game where you get the dinosaurs.
Yep, you go there and you roleplay for 15 hours straight. You don't break character once, but you do that every single day.
Mm-hmm.
It's an entirely different kind of breed.
I think the Jack and Chips played on Ark. I think there's a roleplay server that they both played on or something together.
Mhm.
Like a bunch of VRChat
Oh
people
yeah, there's
playing it.
quite a few.
Yeah. Same thing with like GTA RP as well. So like people roleplay the entire. I could get behind. I actually tried to get into the GTA RP stuff, but I got declined like 3 times. I mean,
Yeah, it's
it's
really
really
strict.
tough. Yeah.
It's
Unfortunately, they said my
plus there's
character
everyone's
wasn't good
trying to get
enough.
in too.
They said my character wasn't good enough. I
Mm.
tried to play a stalker where I would just ASMR whisper, like, hey, and I would creep on people. So like imagine like an entire stream where I'm just like a block away with like binoculars and I'm just like
Oh no,
creepily
just
stalking you.
watching people.
Yeah, and then eventually I would that was my plan. And then I'll get
That would
like
be
a white
great.
van and then I'll kidnap people and take them out to like because like there's
Oh,
like
nice.
there's out in like the desert in the map, so I'll take them out to the desert, and that's what I would do. That's what was my plan, but it never happened because I never got in the server. But that's what I was gonna do. I was gonna be like a
Yeah.
weirdo, and then my side thing, because like in the big server no pixel, you could go into like the dark web and actually hack stuff and know how to like hack banks and like it's
Mm.
actually very like it's very hard to do, but like if you know how to do it. I'll have all these connections with like the dark web people, so because like there's a bunch of people who play in that
Oh
server
yeah,
that
yeah, yeah.
they're all into the dark web, so I'll be one of those people.
Nice.
Yeah, but I'd be whispering like, "Hey guys, what's up?" I'd just be really
I
shy.
implore you to keep on trying.
Well, for that serve, you have to pay money to actually apply. So,
Oh, ooh,
ooh, and then
that's a yikes.
wait like 10 hours in a queue if you're not a cool special boy. So priority.
Hmm.
So I don't know. I mean, obviously
Yeah,
there's
that's
other
how it
servers.
is.
I got into the Twitch RP server quite easily because I just said I'm a streamer and they're like, oh yeah, hell yeah, gamer. It's just I don't know that server. I think it's obviously a lot better when I play because when I first played, some of the RP elements just weren't right. Like you had to open your phone in the
Yeah.
game and then give money to people that way, so that means that you can't
Yeah,
actually.
it's not really.
So like if I walk up to you and hold a gun up to you, you have to willingly open your phone and then give me cash. Instead, it should be like I
Mm.
just type slash rob and it steals your money. I shouldn't have to depend on, and you have to type the exact amount too. So like someone can lie and only give you $450 when they have 5,000. How would you know if they're lying or not? That's just like a lot of immersion breaking. So I was just like, nah, I can't play in a server where things like that. And No Pixels is one of the more developed servers, but they obviously have the big, you know, restrictions or whatever you want to call it, like requirements.
Yeah, I also believe that they actually have programmers hired to help them
Yeah,
get that going.
one of the guys who runs the server, Coil. He is like he like programs everything in like real time. So like he figured out how to like make weed in the game or whatever whatever he wanted to do. So yeah. Speaking of GTA 5 roleplay, actually, did you know that a bunch of them actually wanted to get into VRChat for roleplay?
Really?
Yeah.
Well, I encourage them to do so.
When VRChat was first blowing up in the end of 2017, 2018, a bunch of them from the GTA RP community actually were interested in VRChat because the game was popular and they saw the potential for like improv and roleplay. Unfortunately, none of them sticked around longer than a week because
Mm.
I was there. I was one of their tour guides. I literally was showing them around the game. Unfortunately, some of them were like Tim Mack and some of the bigger GTA people,
Mm.
and they asked me a lot of questions for roleplay. They said like, "Hey, can you like, is there jobs in this game? Can you play a cop or criminal?" I'm like, technically, you can be whatever you want, but there's you can't physically like arrest people because like Giant Waffle, who's someone who plays this game, he doesn't stream it. But he asked me that question too. He was like, "Can you arrest people in this game? Can I put handcuffs on you and put you to jail?" He's like, "No, the player has to willingly put their arms behind their back and then
Mm.
walk. And nobody's going to do that. No random user is going to do that. you have to find people that are willing to roleplay.
Mm.
So
I've actually got a counterpoint on that. If you're doing just like random public worlds, you can't expect anyone to do that because people are mostly just posting
true.
in those public lobbies. But if you're a part of the metaverse, everyone will do that.
True.
Everyone will.
Well, at the time the metaverse
Or else it's considered
wasn't
an
a
RP
thing.
foul.
At the
Right,
time
of
it was
course.
just like it was the only thing that was being streamed was Team 5 random silliness, and then
Mm.
the Chips late night with Nuts. That was about it. That was like all the love and
Ah,
silliness
right.
stuff.
So it was during that little like silly. Okay, it was before everything
Yeah,
got serious.
yeah, before the
That's a
serious
shame.
stuff.
That's a real big shame.
Yeah, well, even still now, I feel like roleplay even still now is, I mean, unless you're in a specific world or around specific people, that's how roleplay works. It's not like there's still even worlds
Yeah.
where like there's no like good roleplay world where it's like you pick up a gun, I shoot you, and you fall over, and you have to roleplay and go to the hospital, right? There's nothing like that.
Well,
I feel like unless you set
there
it up,
is.
there's some that do that, but I feel like someone has to build that for you. It's not like GTA where the foundation's already there, where like there's guns and cops, you can lockpick doors
I
and
see
stuff like
what you
that.
mean.
Someone has to code all of
Well,
that into VR chat. Takes a lot of time and
it's not
effort.
that difficult to do, honestly. Actually, not really. I would measure that it would take only about 30 minutes at best to actually make a functioning gun. And I know because I've done it before. All you
Okay.
have to really do is just invest inside of tutorials and just find whatever free assets that you can.
I feel
There's like hundreds of tutorials on YouTube that'll help you get along.
well. I say this because a lot of these role players wanted to emulate basically GTA in VR, and obviously there at the time there's no maps. Like unless you're playing a game of like Gun and Steel or Steel and Gold or whatever, they were just like, oh, so there's like nothing you can do. So like if someone in a public role pulls out a gun and shoots you, it doesn't do anything. I'm like, yeah, it doesn't do anything. Then like they're like, well, how do you like role play? I'm like, well, it's just improv. Unless you make a world for it, none of this stuff matters. And at the time, no one made worlds really. It was just like a little box or something. That was it. Obviously, we're almost into the time of like Callus Row with Arcadum, which is going to be a whole functioning role play, which I'm obviously a part of, and
Oh, yeah.
it's going to be a huge thing. But like, if Callus
Hmm.
Row was back then, I think a lot of them was stuck around. But it's
Oh, yeah.
almost been two
Oh, yeah,
years
I'm
now,
sure.
and now Callus Row's coming out. So that's what I'm trying to get the point of. Is
Hmm.
like, there was no worlds, there was no like real serious role play. It was just silly,
Hmm.
goofy stuff. So.
Yeah, thankfully it's a lot more different now. And I think that people have started to realize the true cons of having a system that has no moderator, which is why you're seeing a lot more private, sort of, essentially private roleplay servers
Mhm.
popping up, such as, for instance, Callus Row, Forbidden Knowledge,
Yep.
etc. There was also like this zombie apocalypse one, I believe, that I heard about. I don't remember the name on the top of my head, but Kazuki runs it.
Okay. Yeah, there's definitely like a lot of role play stuff, Purple Lotus, a lot of stuff like that. I actually had a Miss or Oblivious on, and she told me like
Oh.
and Bream, and they told me like technically when people role play, not all role play, but like a lot of it for at least for them, like they described it as like it's 90% talking and like 10% action because like to be able to like build maps and have action oriented stuff is like it takes a lot of time and effort. It can scuff really easily, especially if you're doing like a venture type thing like a mission and then somebody leaves, you're like, uh-oh, they went to the toilet or something, you know? I feel like VRChat is just
Hmm.
not really designed for role play right now. It's just a social game. Like if it was a better foundation, at least what if Udon came out, maybe there would be a lot more stuff, you know?
I humbly disagree,
Okay.
but what VR chat absolutely requires is that for every single individual user to pull their own weight. And not everyone has the time to do models or make particle effects, but it's pretty much, it doesn't have to be an entirely a talking game. Has only become that way because people have become complacent in receiving
Mhm.
like descriptors or words or narration, which can be fine to an extent, but ultimately people should really be pushing to have physical assets on their avatars to show their abilities. And I am one of the people who are at fault of this, but I am steadily trying to improve myself and giving my models all some sort of physical representation because VR chat inherently is a visual medium.
Yeah.
So, if you have the resources and you put in the time, I think that VRChat is still the best roleplay platform to date. But if you don't put in that time, then yeah, it's only going to be 90% talking.
I mean,
But again, if you have like some sort of moderation system where you force people, or you only really let
certain individuals into
you
certain
only
worlds.
that, well, I mean, not even necessarily just that, but making sure that everyone is on the same page that, look, if you don't have it on your avatar, you don't have it.
Mm-hmm. I get what you're saying.
Then it's an entirely different game.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, like, I just feel like, I don't know. I think like the number one actual roleplay thing for like Twitch is GTA, and I think it's just because it just has a better foundation. I feel like obviously VRChat has the possibility of like being way more beyond GTA roleplay. I just feel like GTA is like a lot more popular because it already has the foundation built. I feel like once VRChat, if it does build, like, and Udon does actually become very successful, then a lot of them probably will. Because my dream game is actually literally just GTA but VR. Like like everything's first person. Because like when you play GTA or whatever, it's third person, right? Nobody's playing first person unless you're crazy. Like it's just like a really big disadvantage because everyone looks over walls. Everyone's all that stuff. I feel like if a game was like GTA but VR, I think it would be a huge, massive thing. Obviously, not just GTA. You could take it even beyond that. Like just it doesn't have to be like in a real world setting. It could be space or whatever. But as long as it has like those mechanics, I feel like people like watching good versus evil. The cops and the robbers type vibe in
Mm-hmm.
role play. I feel like that's very popular and what people like to see because it's always that constant struggle of people trying to rob banks and hostage situations and drama or whatever is going on.
Mm.
Because like whenever at TwitchCon and stuff like that, they always have like the role play communities, and it's usually just Dungeons and Dragons community or GTA. They always bring on the GTA people. They always talk about them. They don't ever talk about VR chat and what we do. So I do hope that VR chat and VR in general does evolve. I do believe that VR is the next level RP. Like that is because it's way more personal. You're doing all these things. You don't have to type like
Mm-hmm.
slash dance. You just physically dance or you physically wave and
Yes.
do stuff like that. It's a way more immersive.
You can physically read people's body language, among other things.
Yeah, exactly.
Kick people.
Yeah, you just physically kick them, or a finger tracking, and then it's even more immersive.
Oh yeah.
So that's
Actually,
what I hope
funnily enough,
for.
I'm not sure if I actually will be using finger tracking unless it gets a little bit better because it's a little bit harder to do gestures. I found.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You're 100% right on that. Like, well, VR chat just sort of like what do you call like hastily just push something out. They're like, oh, index coming out. They just push something out real quick. Oh, it works.
Let's just.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, this is perfectly as intended.
yeah. That's the way I feel about um the index implication to this
Mhm.
game. So yeah.
I jumping back to your prior point, I do understand what you mean. Like it's easier to roleplay when you have like some sort of commands or things to work with. Personally, with my experience, I have found that I prefer to have that pure freedom and the ability to just rely on everyone else's competence, assuming they are. But
Mhm.
if you do have a system where you have like a bunch of really, really good role players who know all the rules, know and understand that even if you lose, it's still fun. And in fact, I feel like a true role player knows that losing is the most fun. It's not about the victory.
Yeah, because if you keep
It's about
winning,
that
it's
climb.
it's boring.
Hmm.
They say that
Oh yeah.
that's why the no pixel server is so tough because I mean there are I'm gonna be honest with you here. It's kind of favoritism if you're a big streamer boy or girl, they let you in. But like um there's one guy, I forget his name now. He plays like literally 12 like a dozen characters in that server. And like half of those characters always lose. And he says like to me, it's not about winning, it's about making a good role play experience. So like he
Exactly.
plays like a reporter guy, and he tries to like frame like the gangbangers and shit. Like he tries to like film them doing stuff and sell it. And like
Oh
and he
no.
was talking about how like he got shot in the leg, so he purposely like makes his character limp. He doesn't have to. He could just full on sprint and
Mhm.
just like run away in a car.
Yeah,
But he purposely like makes his character limp and be like, oh, and like fall over. But like the people that he was role playing,
good.
the gangbanger just walked up to him and gunned him down. He said like I don't. He's like I wouldn't have agreed with that. If I was one of them, I would have like, I would have took this guy and like interrogated him and talked to him instead of just gunning him down and making him wait for a paramedic to heal him.
Or even just like really just make him suffer for a while, right?
Yeah, like that's what I feel
Anything.
about like comparing to people who just role play for like winning all the time and like that's how you compare someone who's an amateur and a pro. Like he's pro, he knows exactly what
Hmm.
he's doing. He's been doing it for years, and he's always like, oh yeah, half the time I lose, it doesn't matter as long as I'm having fun and making a good experience. That's all that matters to him. And he feels like
Oh yeah.
he always like reviews other people's stuff, like not like just to a stream, but he's like I wouldn't have done that, or I don't agree with that, or this should have happened, you know.
Mm.
Very critical.
It's
Stabbies? No, he's the people in the chat they're trying to tell me what's his name.
I'm
Um,
trying to guess.
it's a GT. He plays the reporter guy Ron Perlman and whoever else. He plays like a bunch of like people like I don't know. Actually, we got a question from the chat here from Ribbon. RP and
Oh,
VR
oh,
chat,
hi,
or
Ribbon.
at least it's just a statement. It's very long, so I want to read it. RP and VR chat is still so new, though. At least as far as serious RP goes, I think as long or as enough work is put into it, it can be very, very good. Just looking at the work put into
Hmm.
Ascension has shown how much you can do, though it has its own problems. Or so the same
Hmm.
is true, or End Times, the zombie RP Miss Universe referred to. Silent something? Oh yeah,
Oh yes.
Silent Sentry. That was his name. Yeah, Silent Sentry.
Mm.
He was the guy that he plays like 10 different characters. He's really good at roleplay, I would say. But yeah, back to her point, Ribbon's point. So yeah, I mean, I just feel like you said, like you're a pro at roleplay and you've done Dungeons and Dragons. I feel the same way about Arcadum because he does that like full time as a job.
Oh, oh
So
yes.
and both of you guys are definitely someone who's like an expert at role play, and obviously you guys know about winning and losing and making it fair, making it fun. I just feel like a lot of people who have played VRChat, who want to get into role play, a lot of them are kind of like the amateur, just sort of like, wow, my character's dead now, and like I'm gonna tweet about it, and I'm angry
Mm.
now, like type of
They don't
stuff.
even. I have to reiterate the fact that VR chat is a lot of people's first role play
Yeah.
experience. Like by a massive majority. Like it is 80%. Genuinely 80%. I scoped around and actually like did the numbers.
Hmm.
It's which explains a lot of why you see certain character types everywhere, why you don't see people letting their characters die. Most of all, you say that people complain about having their characters die, but that's you. There's only really been, I'd say, one, no, two, two proper roleplay deaths and by that I mean it was unplanned. It happened in the moment, and they took the death.
I think
You don't really see. Oh wait, no, I'm sorry, three because Shimanzu was a part of that. Yeah.
I think
So it is very rare to actually see people to
well,
actually kill their characters
maybe
off.
not kill, but like it's definitely people that just things don't go their way, so they get pissy, and they're just like,
Oh yes,
"Wow, what the hell?"
yes. Mm.
Def is the like. Well, I feel like for Kadam's roleplay, there definitely was because I remember Rafflegator's character died within like the first 2 minutes. He just took like a man, he just died. So whatever. There's definitely some people who died in the Forbidden Knowledge roleplay, and they just had to deal with it.
Oh yes. Hmm.
So
I think a lot of that too was the fact that everyone was given a very straight, direct look. You could die episode one. and you're going to take it, or else you're not going to be welcome here. And unfortunately, because there is no gatekeeper, there is no one saying, "Hey, look, this is how shit goes around here."
Mm-hmm.
It's sort of, you get people with all different sorts of perspectives on how things should be run, how much they are able to control their own character. Some people are scripting even entire storylines, which I just can't agree with. Because at that point, it's not necessarily roleplay anymore.
Yeah.
It's a story, and I think it should be separated entirely from, the metaverse, because when you script things like that, it's not the same. And it's the same for deaths. I would much prefer everyone to have and live and operate on a system where someone walks up to you and shanks you in the stomach and you just take it.
Yeah, it's organic.
Was it a satisfying RP death? No. You couldn't even really understand why it happened. Not necessarily. But you have to have trust in the other person.
Exactly.
And that being said, a lot of people don't do this for... I will admit that some people actually have a justified reason for it, and it's because that there is no gatekeeping. Sometimes you have people who just think it's fun to be strong and just kill people for no reason.
Yeah.
But if you have a proper gatekeeper, then that problem is entirely gone.
Well, yeah, it goes back to
hence Callous Row.
Yeah, exactly. And it goes back to the GTA stuff, the gatekeeping is the cops. So if you kill someone in the game, you're wanted and you actually get the 9. So what that means is your character goes to prison forever, and you're just gonna sit there in prison for your rest of that character's life. That's what they did to Moon Moon's character. He played what's his name, Maximilian's Bread or some shit. I don't know. His name was some whack ass shit. Anyway, he basically became an eco-terrorist, and he got the 9s, and he quit the roleplay. He wanted out anyway, but they have a lot of means. I just feel like VRChat doesn't really have a lot of repercussions for things. It's oh, you killed that character. It's whatever, nobody cares. But in a roleplay scenario, it should be you're hunted. Now everyone knows that you killed that person. You should be hunted and taken to justice or something.
I disagree on that, actually. The moment that someone actually kills a different character, the entire metaverse goes up in arms and they go and try and kill that one person. That at least has been the pattern that I've seen so far, to the point where, and some of you might recognize this reference, where they tortured the perpetrator at the other person's funeral.
Oof. Damn.
And here's a fun bit, by the way. I humbly believe that a vast majority of the metaverse is actually morally black than even gray or white. You misinterpreted me when I meant when I said gatekeeping. When I say gatekeeping, I mean an application process to get in the first place.
Oh,
but
okay.
You did bring up a good point in the respect that there is no police system. And even if there was, it's not taken seriously. I know this because the character that I played, Vincent, he was lawful good. He operated by the laws until he found out that there was no laws that actually protected the good people, because there's mafias running around everywhere, and So, and unfortunately, with the nature of the metaverse, because nothing is specifically written down, and because it can't ever really be specifically written down, people can literally just play the force field game with you, but with laws. It's no, that's perfectly legal. What are you talking about? That I can do that. I have the paperwork. See, and you can't say no, right? But that's another issue within the metaverse, is that because there is no moderation, because there is no proper preface, proper explanation, there's no technical rules, no technical punishment beyond social outrage. That's the only way you can actually be punished, is that people get mad at you enough not to let you into a roleplay circle.
Yeah.
That's it. That's all you get.
I feel well, okay, the reason why I feel if I kill somebody and someone everyone wants to kill me, that's fine, but I would prefer if like you're just held in jail indefinitely. So imagine like
Yeah,
every single time you get on to roleplay your character, you're just sitting in a jail cell and like people come to visit you and try to like scheme with you. And
I.
then and then you have this big plan to like break out of prison and maybe it works, maybe it doesn't.
Mhm.
Maybe you get caught in the prison break and you get executed by the cops or something. I don't know. See
I
that
actually wanted to make like a super jail with my Vincent character because of all these crazy super powered people, but it sort of fell through. I mean, I could launch it up again in theory. I just don't think.
Mhm.
I think in general, I don't think the metaverse is going to be where I'm going to be putting my time in. I'm going to be putting my time and efforts into these whitelist things such as Ascension,
Yeah.
Callus Row,
Yeah.
etc., including the one that I intend to be running sometime after Ascension's over.
Yeah. That's what I that's what I well, I'll give an example of like when I was part of like the Club Rogue RP, what really like made me angry, besides like people playing as gods or whatever, it's just like before Chips actually went into the lobby, a lot of people weren't role playing. They're just sort of like
Oh,
goofing
yeah, I
around.
remember that.
They're just sort of like, hee hee, I got viewers, or I'm streaming by the way, or yo, want a drink or something. Like they're not in character. They're just sort of chilling. And then like the moment,
Yeah.
like just before Chips gets in the lobby, everyone's yelling like, "Yo, RP card up! Yo, he's coming! Yo, stop goofing around!" And then everyone's just like,
I remember back when. Yeah.
Ugh,
Yeah, go on.
I'm just saying it was terrible. I never liked that. And it still happens in certain role
Mm-hmm.
plays that I do see or am a
Oh.
part of, and I'm just like, you should be role playing the moment you enter that lobby. That's the
Mm-hmm.
way it should be. You shouldn't start role playing because a big boy
Mm-hmm.
streamer's in or because the main character's around or
I
whatever.
agree.
That's not how it works.
It. To be honest, everyone should be treating themselves as though they are the main character,
Yeah.
barring people with extreme power levels. At that point, you have to be like, okay, this is no longer my story.
Mhm.
But like, oh, yeah, I remember when people did that, and it really bothered me as well. You still see it sometimes, but every single time I see it, I get really mad, and I'm just like, guys, can we not? It's different when people are hamstering because they're like waiting to get like everyone together for like events, but
Yeah.
like waiting for one specific person. Oh, that drives me mad.
Yeah.
People did that for me a couple times, and I'm just like, guys, stop. You know I come in late. Fucking RP. There's people who need to like go to bed in an hour. Why are you waiting for me, right?
Yeah, I feel like that's like sort of like the meta sort of with like role play and VR chat. It's like, oh, if the big streamer isn't around, then we don't have to role play, but
Mm.
because they're around, we have to role play.
Ugh.
That's not how it should be. And almost every
No.
other role playing game, including GTA, 'cause I keep referencing that because I've seen it a lot. They role played no matter
Mhm.
who's on. The only time that like issues may arise with role play, especially in GTA, is if there's no cops on. They have a rule where you can't like
Yeah.
rob the bank because it's there's nobody to stop you, so they can't. So yeah, that's the only
Yeah,
time that
yeah.
it
So you
comes.
don't just like farm
Yeah,
cash.
farm cash all the time. So like that's the only issue. But because they increased the server to 64 slots, they have like at least like 12
Mhm.
cops on all the time now. So like you don't have to run into that. And anytime like they even had to limit cops for like robberies because like you would have like 12 cops chasing after you
Oh no.
and there's a rule in that server where when you're doing criminal activities, you can only have a party of 4 players. You cannot have like 10 people robbing
Mm.
a bank. You're limited to 4 players, so that means that one person has to be like the getaway driver, a couple of people have to be like the safe cracker, and some people are like there's the gunman or hold a hostage or whatever. That's how they all have to plan around that 4 players, and it made it more interesting and a lot more
I like
difficult.
that.
While the cops, they never really had any limitations, so it was just like 12 cops just show up and
Oh
just
no.
they always win. So they actually
Oh
had to limit, and
no.
then recently, like a month or two
That's
ago, they
terrible.
limited it so only I think 3 cops or at least 3 cruisers are only allowed to chase after. Like it depends on the situation. If it's like super terrorist shit, they'll like
Mm.
get the full squad in there because like it's kind of distracting, right? Let's say like you plan it out like, "Oh, we're gonna rob the bank," and then when we're robbing the bank, you guys are gonna break out people in the prison, right? That's fucked up. You can't like force the cops to be. You can't like distract like all
Mhm.
the cops and stuff like that. It's kind of metagaming. So, But we have a question here, or at least not a question, sorry, a statement from I am the silent one. He says scripting can make brilliant stories. However, the problem lies in people trying to script in the metaverse where there are too many factors to consider. It has to be very one way or the
Mm-hmm.
other. Either a lot of improv and very light scripting, usually two or three people, or scripted and separated from the metaverse. I get what you're saying.
Yep.
Because like for even GTA stuff, there's definitely stuff that was scripted. Like today we're gonna break out this person in jail, and I'm just like a watcher. I'm never a part of any of that stuff. But I never agree with that. It should just be improv, or at least planned in
Mm.
character, where you literally go to the prison, go to the
Yes, yes,
visitors
which is
booth,
entirely different.
that's like, hey, we're gonna break you out. On this day, we have this massive plan. That's actually what a lot of people do when they even do bank robberies. They have these like plans. They plan it
Hmm.
out for the entire stream. They're planning. Hey guys, we're gonna escape by going to the dock, and then we're gonna get into speedboats, and then go off into the sea. Because the cops, I mean, they have police
Hmm.
boats, but they're not gonna expect you to, you know what I mean? They don't know what's going on. Some people take
Right.
motorcycles. They go to the subway. Like the cop cars can't go in the subway. So like it's a lot better when everything's planned out. But if it's scripted, then it's not
Hmm.
as good. Like it's just like what the hell is going on?
Yeah, it's not as fun, I personally. Plus, it's not, when it's scripted, it's no longer role play. It is a show at that
Yeah, you're watching
point,
a movie.
which it's fine. It's fine, but I don't.
Hmm.
That's not personally what I like. I much rather see where a story blooms, where everyone writes it together.
Yeah.
To be honest, like at most, what I would want, as far as OC communications goes, is pretty much like a, like sometimes, like if people are worried that someone else might think that something came out of nowhere, like maybe like, oh, pardon me, like a warning out of character, like, hey,
Hmm.
yo, my character is, oh, my apologies, it's planning to like kill yours, no hard feelings, or like a simple like, hey, so my ability does this, and this. What do your abilities do, and how would they interact? Like that's I'm okay with, because you don't want to figure that out in the moment, right?
Yeah.
Because that's slow and boring, and no one wants to see that. It should already be figured out so that when you go in, you can just smoothly go right into
Well,
it.
I think an issue just for like VR chat is like people you want people just to die like and be like you just shanked, you have to deal with it, and just die. How they deal with it like GTA is like if you get shot, it doesn't matter if you like fly 1,000 feet in the air and fall to your grave or whatever. Depends on how
Hmm.
serious you're injured. Some of them just get sent to the ICU, so like they actually can't play that character
Oh
for like
yeah.
a week or two. That makes it more interesting. Or like if you want to die, you just type like slash me like there's no pulse or something like that. Then you just permanently die. You can
Mm.
decide when you can and cannot die. Some people can't decide
Hmm.
for you. It's up to you. But if it's like really serious, like the I remember some people like they started getting like higher power weapons, so they got like a shotgun and just blasted a cop right in the face. That cop was like out of commission for like a week or two, and that was a big thing. And it was like the big talk of the town.
Mm.
It's like, oh snap, like
Yeah.
Officer Tenpenny, dude, he got shot in the face, bro. Like, oh shit. And the cops would get like really aggressive with like criminals because they'd just be like, one of our cops is sent to the ICU. We're gonna start seizing everyone at the apartment, so they start like going SWAT mode and like
Hmm.
swatting people's houses and shit, and like
Oh,
robbing
nice.
all their shit. Like so,
All those
yeah.
consequences.
So there's a lot of consequences. That's the type of stuff I want in VR chat, where there's consequences for things. I feel like I'm not saying all the time. Like if I just shank some random bum, like nobody cares. But like, if it's an important character, there should be
Mhm.
things. I brought up a scenario where I feel like some people are just afraid of repercussions. What I mean is like, let's say for season 4, Club Rogue, right? Let's say hypothetically,
Mhm.
Lanfear and Chips were like the big roleplay thing, right? Let's say like Lanfear gets or not robbed, kidnapped, and let's say Chips or Nags or whoever is like tries to save her, and then she gets injured in the process, right? And now she's like in a coma for like a week. That's pretty serious, and then it gives them like an avenge, like I gotta avenge Lanfear, I gotta like mess these people
Mhm.
up, and then maybe he could like, like go up to Lanfear in the hospital bed every single day on stream, record it, stream it,
Yeah.
whatever, and be like, and talk to her. She doesn't have to mute anyway, but you know what I mean. Like they're just like sort of sleeping there,
Mhm.
and then he's like, I'm gonna get revenge. I'm gonna mess them up. It makes a lot bigger
Yeah.
connection than then some of these characters just don't take any damage or anything like that. Like you don't have to have
Yeah.
death, but you can just have like you get injured and you're just out of commission for a few days, and maybe you're in a hospital bed or in a coma or something, and then somebody like walks up to you and role
Yeah.
plays and stuff like that.
I feel like there is a different sort of issue in the role play right now where people are taking injuries, but we have way too many healers, or the healers are too powerful,
Hmm.
or people allow themselves to have their all of their injuries just wiped away, or like slap a band-aid on, and
Yeah.
they don't take any real consequence for it. Like it's like, oh, I got shot in the stomach. Oh, bloop, 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 bloop. You're all better now. And it's the sad part is that sometimes the role players don't even really want this. It's just kind of thrust upon them. But they
Yeah.
can't exactly just say no, right? Because why would their character say no? It's sort of this weird place where it's like even healers need to understand that sometimes their RP isn't wanted, and that they shouldn't actively try and shove themselves into those places. And while I understand they want to fulfill their role
Hmm.
and their character, if they hear about something, they'll probably want to like do something about it. But honestly, I feel like people should be able, and not just be able, but like really should be forced to actually be able to endure an actual injury. Like there's like been like a couple things I've been hearing about where people get like these extreme wounds, or like these really grievous like scars, and it's just immediately just wiped away, and it's like, oh,
Yeah.
I just feel so bad for the people arranging the events, you know?
Yeah, because there
It's like they're
are.
like putting all of these heart into like
Yeah.
these things, and they're like, we want people to die, but it doesn't happen. It's just because no one's it really breaks my heart, honestly.
Well, there are people that I know that do like get injured and they actually like add scars and battle damage to their
Hmm.
characters. And like I remember like seeing a person like they're like pretty normal, just like a nice looking anime boy character, and then like I saw them like a couple months.
Hmm.
I don't roleplay with them, but like I saw them a couple months later, and they had like one eye and they had all scars on their body. I was like, "What happened to you, man?" They're like, "Oh, it was role playing, and I like get fucked up." I was like, "Oh shit, dude."
Hmm. Actually, there's a role player that I actually really want to commend for this. J player, Renegade J.
Mhm.
He has lost like almost all of his fingers and arm. He's been like, I think he was in. I think someone said he was in a coma. Right now, he can't even like walk, as far as I've heard. He's this this poor fucking human has been just beaten to a pulp far too many
Mhm.
fucking times, and it's. I love it. I love that he takes it. It's honestly great, and it makes role playing with him so much more fun than someone who will either just brush off an injury or will
Exactly.
just, yeah.
Well, that's what I think. Like that's why I think like improv and just silly RP is more popular because people just like it takes
Hmm.
time and effort to edit a model. It takes time and effort to set these things up. More people are just there for the silliness. That's why VRChat like blew up was because of just the stupid court cases and just like, oh, you slept with a trap or something. Or, like it was just like, oh, haha, that's funny. And then like, 2 hours later you're just chilling in a world. Like it was just all like comedy sitcom improv stuff. And I feel like the serious role play, I mean, it can work obviously in VR. It just takes a lot more planning, a lot more time, and you can't just have it randomly happen. You have to plan it out. You have to have a world for it. You have
Well,
to have everyone on the same page. It's a lot of time and effort.
well, when you when you get into a rhythm when it comes to these more stricter roleplay verses, all it really requires is for people to consistently show up at a specific time,
Mhm.
or like just start up a lobby in advance, and that's all you really need to do. It's not that difficult, honestly. I think people are kind of underestimating the. I think it's honestly pretty easy to start a serious roleplay, or serious roleplay lobby. It's just that people need to actually put the effort in. But no one wants to initiate, and that's the problem. That's the real issue, is that people wait for someone else to do it, and then they just complain that nothing's happening.
Well, I can give you an example of when Forbidden Knowledge was happening. I showed up to every
Hmm.
single time we did it. Every single I don't remember what class I was part of. I think it was like
Oh
three.
yes.
Or I don't remember. Anyway, I played the detective character. I was playing Frank Castle. I know.
Hmm.
What a classic name. The
I love
Punisher
that
name.
model. I actually love that model so much.
Um, I could pull it out, but actually it lags. Like the whole world now. It gives people like 20 FPS because the game
Oh
broke.
no! What
Thanks
happened?
thanks VRChat.
Oh.
So yeah, anyway, on that avatar I have a notepad so like I can actually write notes in real time.
Mm.
And
Yeah,
then
yeah, yeah.
and then people could also write on it too, which is really cool. But you have to be on my friends list to actually even see the notepad because VRChat is
Yeah.
classic VRChat. But
Mm.
anyway, when I was part of that role play, I always showed up and I was always in character. And what ended up happening was I knew that like Arcadum started getting pissed off of people because he made this whole role
Yep.
play and everyone involved with it would make the maps and set up times and sometimes half
Hmm.
the class wouldn't even show up. I always showed up on time
Yeah.
and
Me too.
that was the problem was a lot of people just stopped showing up and I don't blame him for getting pissed off because you spent all this time and effort
Hmm.
into building everything. He built like a whole combat
Yeah.
system and everything and people just weren't showing up. Like my character got injured. I went to like I made my character obsessed with like his dead wife. So like Arcana would mess with me and
Hmm.
be like is like pretend to be like my wife sort of like a ghost like
Hmm.
it's me.
Bastard.
Yeah, and then like he'll make me like do stuff like pick up like a cursed sword and like I got like my hands burned so I was like fucked up and he's just like
Mm.
I had to constantly like oh my arms they're oh, they're all fucked up. I got like third-degree burns. But half the time some people wouldn't like some classes didn't happen because people didn't show up
Yeah.
and it was just like
Yeah.
what
That
the hell.
really. You know what the worst part is about that is that at the time, no one knew this except for like a few people. But like during that time,
Hmm.
Azrael Archangel actually was going through literally cancer, but he still showed up to class. Like he was dying. He came right out of an appointment. Was like having medication that was like tearing apart the surfaces of his lungs, if I remember right.
Oh shit.
But he still fucking showed up.
Yeah, guy of
But then there's
literally
like
of cancer
there was
showing up, dude.
people
Come on.
there was people streaming their other games while it was happening, and I can't imagine just being so disrespectful. Honestly,
Hmm.
because the least
Literally.
you can do is just say that you're
Yeah.
not interested.
Yeah.
Like just say that you want to drop out. Just it's not that hard.
Yeah.
Just say
Yeah.
something.
Actually, that's exactly what Arcadum said. He said like, if you don't want to be a part of this
Hmm.
roleplay, just DM me and say I want out, and we'll just kill your just say your character fell
Hmm.
in some lava or some bullshit or something.
Yeah, it's not it's not a big deal.
And
Like things can happen. Like, ugh.
it's the lack of communication. That's why, like, for
Hmm.
me, I roleplay occasionally. I'm gonna be in Callister, like I mentioned, like 1,000 times now. But like,
Hmm.
for me, I try to set up even just, not even roleplay things, just like talent shows and just events and stuff like that.
Yeah,
And 90% of the time, people don't show up. People say they do, but they don't.
yeah, but then they cancel last second, or
It,
it's horrible.
yeah, that's why well, I used to do like a podcast with other people, and it just didn't. It stopped happening after a while, and so that's why I started my own show.
Mm.
That's why I made my own world. I'm not gonna rely on other people anymore. I'm sorry. It's just I built my own things
Yeah,
now.
don't. I honestly implore you not to. The more weight that you pull on your own, the easier everything will be.
Exactly. That's why yeah that's why I made like this set, and obviously it's very basic right now, but I do plan on
Mhm.
like advancing it and making it better, or at least paying someone to do it.
Mhm.
I mean, I know how to make worlds. I just
I mean,
make
it's serviceable too.
yeah, it serves its purpose. That's what it has. And like obviously the backdrop is backdrop is all these like signs and stuff from like different role plays or
Mhm.
different events or whatever. Like
Mhm.
it serves its purpose. That's why I built this place. Just as a concept, as an idea, because I always wanted to like run my own show, and then I thought about like, I should have like a late night talk show just like in real life where like a talk show host interviews people about various things. So I could just do that. It's not like a foreign concept. People have
Mhm.
done it before, but I'm trying to do it every single day, interviewing people, and then people can
Oh
come
yeah.
back. So like you can come back in a couple weeks and be like,
Mhm.
hey,
Sure.
this role play thing happened or whatever, or TwitchCon or you
Yeah,
know.
with Callus Rose starting up soon, that's going to be a really fun conversation
Yeah,
topic.
yeah, because it'd be the time where like we're not role playing, but at least we can talk about like, oh, this was a really cool moment in
Oh
Kalos
yeah.
Row or whatever. So
I
yeah.
think one thing that I really miss the most from like the old like crossover arc is that there was a certain point where all the role play stopped and everyone just talked to each other. And I feel like that's really necessary, especially with a lot of people who are really new to the system.
Mhm.
Because some people, when they have their first role play, they can't separate that IC and OC. Like, this is just a character. It's not actually this person. This character is being mean to me, not this person. And at the same time, though, I I say that as the person who has so much stamina that I role played for 12 hours or longer.
Uh,
But at least for like the people who are a lot more new to role playing, I feel like they really need that.
I role played so hard I pretend I was American every day. It's true. That's what Kenny K Coda was. I'm not even American. I'm not even
Yeah.
from the South. And people believed it. That's how good my role play was. Until people started asking me the hard
I
questions. They're like, I kept saying I was from Atlanta, Georgia, and they're asking me like where. You know, like I live in Atlanta.
oh
You're fucking
no.
lying, dude. I was like, oh shit, the
Ah!
version, no. Yeah, and then eventually
You gotta do your research.
yeah, I fucked up. It's okay. The character's just for fun. I don't play them
Yeah.
anymore. I mean, I do pull them out sometimes just for fun, but yeah, I switch
Mhm.
characters. No, this is
Yeah.
just my
And there's no shame in
yeah.
that either.
Yeah, now I play a thick biker chick. Wow. I do plan on getting an actual outfit for
Mm.
this talk show. Like I'm getting the art commissioned.
Ah, yes.
I'll have a business suit on. And
Like a suit.
yeah.
Aha, yeah, because I'm a little bit more
I'm just
dressed
wearing
up than you are.
I need a suit like you. I don't know, I'm just exposed here, just the way it is. You know,
At least it's a nice outfit.
League of Legends, what's her name? Fiora?
Yes.
Yeah, know that character? Okay, you know the headmistress outfit? Or skin?
Mm-hmm.
That's what basically I'm gonna be wearing.
Ah, nice.
Something like that. Just with my head.
Mm.
There you go.
Actually, someone on like a similar topic is while I know most people can't afford this preface, it is really nice when you can have a from scratch model because you know that this is all of it from head to toe, pixel to pixel. This is yours. Like,
Yeah, this is mine.
I made this design myself, and then I handed it over to ShamWow and Wrinkle Nugget.
Hmm.
They're amazing, by the way.
Yeah, give them.
And they made
Hire
the
them.
shader, the fucking
Hmm.
yeah, seriously, commission those guys. They're amazing. I had like this character concept that I just had in my mind for years, and seeing it being like having life breathed into it was just the best thing ever. And it's great because when you walk around, you know that no one's gonna have your face, no one's gonna have your suit, no one's gonna have your hair.
Exactly.
It's especially in a sea of TDA faces, it's really, really nice. And the reason why I bring that up is because there's like no resource anywhere of females in suits. There's none of it. You can't find it, or at least you can't find good ones. Or if there is a good one, everyone has it.
Yeah, the one that most people use, I can point out and know exactly. It's the one with like the black coat and then the white like
Mm.
undershirt or
Yeah, I know
whatever.
exactly what you're referencing.
It's pretty basic. I was gonna make that for mine, and I was just like, nah. And then I started looking at like, I got like a lot of ideas from just looking at game characters and then just mix and matching
Oh yeah.
them. So I looked at for another outfit I looked at Sydney from Final Fantasy 15. And then I was just like,
Mm.
I could have that as like a mechanic outfit for Kalos Row. And then I started
Yeah.
looking at a Pokemon trainer, and so I mixed the two. So now my character is kind of like a mechanic. A lot of people when they like I posted on Twitter my picture or my outfit, and a lot of people are like, "Is that a Pokemon trainer?" I was like, "I guess kind of. It does look like it." I don't know when I'll get that. It would be a
Yeah,
while.
you gotta get your resources from somewhere.
The problem is I won't get the avatar for a long time because the Genoma who makes
Yeah.
my avatars, she's very busy until like November, and the Kalos is going to start soon. So
Oh.
I'll just be wearing this biker outfit until then. So It'd be like that.
Well, at least you have an outfit.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I guess we could talk a little bit of Ascension. So like, you play Specca,
Sure.
right? What? That's her name, right?
No, 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 no. Specca plays Specca.
Oh,
I play
Specca.
Vivina Cesaris.
Oh,
Or,
okay.
well, if I wanted to break out the voice.
Davina Cesaris.
What? My
She's a
immersion.
were spider, a buckin.
Morph.
She's a spider that could transform into a human. In fact, I actually have like a big old hand puppet of a spider that I use for when she's like
Oh.
actually herself. I really love this character because she's a part of this thing that I had included into the metaverse a long while back, the Swarm, which is a bunch of like an entire like empire of bugs, just sentient
Mhm.
giant bugs. I really love bugs. I love them so much. Anyway,
I guess Chips likes bugs too, huh?
uh, I don't know.
I don't
I didn't
know.
make him for him.
I don't
I
know.
just like the character.
I'm just saying, cause like
I didn't
I
care
I
if
wa
everyone would have gone like,
I I s- I just think it's funny because I watched some of it. I'm not super invested because I have my own
Mhm.
thing going on.
Yeah.
So I don't know much about it, but I think tomorrow we're gonna have a lot bigger cast for Ascension, which would be interesting. Because I know like
Mhm.
nothing about it, so like I could have actually been a part of the whole role play. I could have signed up for it. I just don't have time. I have college and all this other crap going
Oh
on.
yeah,
I think it's just too
and it's
much of
better that you're honest about that than
yeah,
some other people
rather than signing up and be like, oh guys, you can't show up. Like, no, I signed up for
after
Cal's
everyone's already put
Row
like all like that
months
time
prior.
money on
Yeah,
you. Ugh.
I mean, the type of role play that I adore or like a lot is drop in, drop out. So
Mhm.
like your character isn't necessary, has to be there every single goddamn day. Like
Yeah.
if you want to like take a few days off or you can't be there for some reason, then it's fine. The role play still runs. I feel like Club Rogue was kind of like that. I mean, I played the entertainment manager. I played essentially the pimp, so I wasn't. I didn't show up like 2 or 3 times, but like the RP didn't break because I wasn't there.
Yeah. Well, that is the sign of a very, very healthy role play, or at least the first step of one.
Hmm.
No role play should be entirely reliant on one person. It's different when it's like an event
Hmm.
dedicated to a person,
Yeah.
but like it role play does not need a singular person to survive. That's just not how role play works. People drop in, you role play with the people who are there, and if you don't have the people that you're used to role playing with, you role play with other people who are there. It's just
Yeah.
you interact with the world. That's just how it is.
Otherwise, it's just like some typical anime thing where it's just like the one main character's
Mm,
there. It's like imagine, it's like a filler episode, you
mm,
know? It's like, oh, Naruto's not here.
yeah.
What do we guys do? It's like,
Yeah, no, I don't rely on a singular person for any bits of my storyline for Vev. I do whatever Vev feels like in that moment with
mhm.
the people and the situation present. It doesn't matter if they're like in space or she's alone. I will roleplay with myself for 3 hours if I need to.
Well,
I've
that's
done it.
dedication.
I've done it before.
What?
I've done it before. I did it for much longer than that, but but yes, I've done it before. Not on Ascension specifically, but I have done it many times in the past where I just monologue
Hmm.
in my head, or I just have my character talking to himself, even just like having like, uh, all right, it's time to get. I have to make what swords? Was it swords? Was it axes? This is swords or axes? Just constantly, just
Hmm.
forever.
Nice. That's the dedication of a role player. Because most people are like, oh, this person's not here. I guess I'm just gonna leave now and go explore Publix or
Mm.
something.
I mean, that's what that really tells me is that your character is nothing without someone else, which means that your character
Yeah, you're a
isn't even a
sidekick.
character at that point. Not even a side, like sidekicks can have stories. Like, holy shit. Like is Robin just like a one-dimensional? Oh boy, Spider-Man. Maybe in the old bits, but like not in
Spider-Man?
any of the recent shit.
What the
Oh my
hell?
god.
You mean Batman? What the hell?
Batman. I meant Batman. Oh
Spider-Man,
god, I'm an idiot.
Robin. I want to see that.
Actually, that would be kind of neat to see them interact. Not
That
gonna
won't
lie.
happen. That's Marvel and DC.
Pardon
What the
my
hell?
Freudian slip. uh, but ultimately, your story shouldn't be relied shouldn't rely upon anyone else. If
Mhm.
someone suddenly isn't there, nothing in theory should change. It's still just roleplay. You see what you have presented before you and you react. That's all that roleplay is. You just go in, you be the character, and you just constantly react.
Mhm. Well, I could bring up something that I haven't talked for a very long time. You know about
Oh,
Werewolf, right?
oh, I love Werewolf.
I used to in the start of 2018. I saw that there was a werewolf map. Like the very first iteration of the map was terrible, by the way, because they
Mhm.
didn't have houses or anything like that. So
Oh
I
no.
set up the rules and everything for that game mode. At least I made my own rules.
Nice.
So what I did was I forced everybody. I pulled people one by one into the one room. And I said, "This is your role. This is what you can and cannot do. This is the side you're on.
Mm.
And at nighttime you do this and blah blah blah." And then when I told everyone's, it took a very long time of planning and effort. And basically, the night cycle was everyone would face a wall, basically like put their face
Mm.
right into the wall, and I would call people out by their role. So I'd be like, detective,
Yeah,
stand
yeah, like how the game
backwards.
is traditionally played.
Yeah, and that's how I did it. And a lot of people had fun with that, like a lot of fun because I was the one setting all that stuff up, and it got so much
Mhm.
attention that I actually was on Game Grumps for an episode.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, because Rubber Ross, he used to play VRChat,
Mm.
so he put it on Game Grumps. It was pretty cool because I was
Mm.
just like, wow. And that's something that I did, and it just took so much time and effort. But I feel like sometimes it's kind of underappreciated because like I'm the one who set it all up and had the rules. Actually, it wasn't even Werewolf. It was like a mix between Werewolf and Town of Salem. So
Well, Town of Salem is literally a variant of Werewolf, so that makes sense.
yeah, well, the reason why I sort of transitioned it into Town of Salem because I didn't like how in the Werewolf map, they're just rules are just called Villager and they literally do nothing.
No,
So
that's boring.
so I decided to give everybody an actual role,
Werewolf.
like sheriff, jailer, and
Mm.
bystander, vigilante, veteran. Like you can actually do things. Everybody has a role. Doctor, all these roles. So like there's some
Mhm.
roles and like, it's like it's funny, interesting because like you have the day and night cycles, and then people are technically role playing because you give them a role, and this person's a
Yeah.
serial killer. So like the person, I know everyone's role, so I know that the serial killer's like being really quiet and like
Mhm.
slowly taking everyone away, or like the mafia is like plotting. Like it's always
Mhm.
interesting to watch it happen, and people loved it. It doesn't happen anymore. Many people don't play Werewolf anymore, unfortunately, because it just takes too much time and effort. People rather just sit in front of a mirror, dab. But that's just the way it is.
That's unfortunate. I can already hear a particular friend of mine, Ranger Savage. I actually met him in Werewolf, by the way, just
Hmm.
screaming. Because that's like, he says that like every other week. He's like, can we play Werewolf?
Yeah, it was a lot of
And
fun.
everyone's just like, no.
It's just
We all really want to, but
yeah, it just took too much
you know.
time and effort for me to like set it. Cause it would take me like an hour investment to like set everything up, explain all the rules.
Mhm.
It's so time consuming, but it was worth it in the end. Just having the memories and having people watch it and be like, "Oh my god!" And like I told, a lot of people were streaming it, so I'm like, I'm telling you right now, you can't read your chat because they're just gonna spoil it and say who the killer is or whoever.
Oh yeah, no, I never look at my chat
Yeah.
when I play Werewolf.
So
Or I try not to. Or if anyone actually posts meta stuff, it's like, it's banned. And then it's like, hey guys, kill me. Someone spoiled me. Bye
yeah,
bye.
yeah. Well, I would love to play because there's murder mystery maps in VRChat. But I've never had the opportunity to play at.
Mm.
Because you ever heard of or play Danganronpa?
Yes, I love Danganronpa.
I would love for someone to set up a proper lobby where that was like every week, where everyone is like a character they play, and then like someone like every 10 minutes or something like that, someone dies. You have to figure it out, and if you don't, everyone fucking dies. So you have to like become really
It'd
smart.
be that would be much more difficult to set up, like technically because of the very nature of Danganronpa, where it's very clinical about how
You have to have a GM, a
the
DM.
victim dies.
Hmm.
So you have to really know your stuff, and you have to really.
You have to have somebody set
I feel
everything
like the
up.
biggest problem is that like or VR chat latency. I mean, I guess in theory you could have like physical weapons that would cause like generate like physical cards for specific deaths, but at that point it's like a lot of the mystery will be like ruined because everyone will already know like these pre-generated like weapons and
Well,
stuff like that, you
I,
know?
I explained to my chat how it might run is like where like the because you have in the actual game in the show you have the what's his name, the little bear, I forget his name,
Um,
Momokun or
Monokuma.
something. Yeah, that guy. But he basically is like essentially the DM. Like he's telling everyone how the game
Mm-hmm.
works and oh, there's been a body
Yeah.
discovered and all that stuff. So essentially that person would have to set everything up, and then you would have to like
Mm-hmm.
have people have access to like a killer room, and then they like because like there is an inventory system in VR chat, a really old horror
Mm-hmm.
map. They replaced the jumping mechanic where every time you click jump, it spawns a little menu that only you can see locally. You can pull like a flashlight. We could have that instead. You pull out a
Oh,
knife, and then you could pull out the knife and stab somebody, and then quickly put it away. So you can do things like that, or
again, we
drop it
just
or
have to,
whatever.
yeah, we just gotta wait for a particular update, VR
And
chat.
udon? Was that some kind of noodles or
Yeah,
something?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Is it done yet?
Yeah. Supposedly it's supposed to come out by the end of the 2019, actually.
I hope so. Well, okay. I hope it's introduced properly. I'd be happy to wait if it isn't ready yet.
Well, I think
Please don't break everything again.
the reality is that Udon's gonna come out, and it's gonna be like VRChat 2017, where nobody knows how to do anything. So I feel like it's gonna take like 6 months before people actually make stuff with Udon properly.
Mm,
Because like you're gonna not have the tools, but you're gonna have to figure out how to run them. Because like, I feel like
yeah.
VRChat now with its current tools, only like maybe 20 or 30 people like world creators actually know how to do stuff in this game. Because most people just make boxes and call it a day. A lot of people don't even know how to optimize a map. So now you're giving people who don't even know how to optimize a map how to like do all these advanced tools. Yeah, like just because you have all these cool tools doesn't mean you suddenly can make, you know, all these
Yeah.
advanced game modes. Like it takes a lot
That
of
being said,
yeah.
anything to encourage people to actually creating more is a win in my book. Even if people don't get there right away, and they won't, no one will. I'm not there yet. I still can barely like do a head swap, but I'm still learning. And the more you learn, the better you'll get. I mean, it's
Mm-hmm.
duh, right? But like
Exactly.
a lot of people just really underestimate their own ability to learn. Really, all it is patience.
Exactly.
And if you just go at it, eventually you'll be making really amazing shit, and you'll be, God, your wallet will be happy with you because you won't have to pay anyone to do it. You won't have to wait on anyone else, which is like the biggest thing. Like you said, you have to wait till November for your stuff. Imagine just being
Yeah.
able to like get started on it
Yeah.
immediately.
Yeah, I have to wait a while. Unless I hire somebody else. So
Mm.
I can wait though. I'm not like pressured like I wanted something for Halloween, but sometimes it just doesn't happen. You know, at the end of the day I should just learn myself. I am in 3D animation and character
Yes.
design. But the stuff I'm learning is how to make like
Oh.
actual stuff that's like a million polys and how to like make skeletons and
Mm.
like you make a model by building the skeleton, then you build the muscle, then you build the skin, you have to build all every single teeth, like everything, and then you rig it. That's
Nice.
actual animation. That's for actual
Mhm.
like movies and stuff. This isn't for video games. Video games like everything's hollow. There's no bones inside of people and avatars and
Mhm.
things like that. I mean,
I
there's,
require this model boneless.
yeah. Um, is there anything you want to talk about? Because I think we've been going for over an hour and like 20 minutes or something like that.
Hmm. Well, here's a question for you.
Okay.
What have you been doing beyond prepping for Callus Row? Recently, I mean.
Well, I only started doing this talk show like 10 days. That's another thing I've been doing. But for Callus Row for preparation, I already had this character made like literally in June. end of June. So like I was already technically ready for such a long time, and my character is literally a mechanic that owns the chop
Mm.
shop thing, and Gambit he recently is gonna work under me. His character's like in heavy like a lot of debt, and his character like basically is a loser, like loses everything. So I have a lot of ideas for my character of like running the shop, but then I'm also gonna like try and like rob people at night. So
Nice.
yeah, I'm gonna rob you. Isn't your character in a wheelchair? That just makes it easy for me.
Yes. Are you? Yeah, I remember you said that you're gonna be stealing my fucking wheelchair. Or was
Yeah,
that someone
yeah.
else?
Nah, I said I was gonna steal your wheelchair. I'll trick it up. Add some flames
Oh
on it.
no, that's gonna be great. That's gonna be great
Make it
for
make
when
it
you
a
and
hover.
eventually end up. It already hovers. It's gonna be a hover chair, but like,
Oh.
it's gonna be great when you show up in the hospital late and she's like, "Hey," she'll be like, "Hello." Raises scalpel.
It's like I don't know what happened to your
Fucking with the
wheelchair.
one medic in town.
Yeah. It's funny 'cause
But it'll be fun. It's gonna be fun.
yeah, it'd be fun. I was gonna say like quickly like technically in like GTA 5 roleplay they don't actually fuck with any of the paramedics 'cause like those are the people that save you so they never rob or like take them hostage. But my character's not gonna give a shit about anyone, so like I'll rob anyone. I don't care as long as I get some money.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Which is good because that means I'll get some conflict beyond the fact that my
Exactly.
character is a jerk. Oh no. That'd be great.
Yeah, I'm very excited for Callus Row to come out and a lot more people to Sweepo wants the wheelchair. Yeah, I'll give it a Sweepo.
Sweepo. I love that model. It's so cute.
The one thing about roleplay, I guess, we'll talk about this for a bit, and then I guess we'll call it a day for this interview. Um,
Mhm.
One thing that a lot of people for roleplay have an issue with is playing a character that isn't their gender in real life. So obviously I'm a dude, no shit,
Hmm.
and like obviously I play a chick. So like for roleplay, that's always a bit weird for some people because it's like, oh, I'm trying to get into this character, but it's just some dude playing a chick. I don't understand. Like obviously I know that I could probably use a voice changer or modify my voice and learn how to talk like a girl because so many people know how to do that. I just don't have the time and commitment, and I don't know. I'm just too lazy to like commit to something like that. So my question is like, how do you feel about people that play a character that like let's say you play a lolly or something like that, and someone has like a deep voice that has nothing to do with the character. You're just like, what the hell? Like for role play.
What? Honestly, I can't fault people for not having the ability right away. However, what I would encourage for people who are trying to get somewhere, like with some sort of voice mimicry, is the step method. And all you really got to do is every single day for about 15 minutes, you first have to find.
At what point your voice is a little bit strained, right?
Mhm.
Then you take a step back and you talk like this for a while because the voice is just a muscle.
Mhm.
And once you stretch it, eventually you'll be able to get all the way up here. This is really easy. It's just super easy. Just 15 minutes a day, lots of water.
And you just you go to the point just before it's strained, and then you talk in the strained voice for about 15 minutes, no more, no less. Don't strain your voice because you'll damage it.
Yeah.
And then each day it'll get easier and easier. If people start out with a really deep voice, that's fine. It's fine. I encourage people not to use voice changers because they're always jarring. Everyone always knows it. Voice changers just aren't good.
It's like the Mickey
At
Mouse
best, use it
voice.
for like a robotic voice.
Yeah.
No, not even. It's you can just tell. It sounds very, very artificial. I would encourage people to instead get to what pitch they can manage and just go with that. it's honestly fine. Like if people have a really deep voice, it's okay. It's roleplay.
Yeah, just give me your
People
voice.
people will No, I worked really hard to train this. Just honestly, just put in the time. Like with everything else, if you just dedicate a little bit of time to it every single day, eventually you will have as much vocal versatility as I do, maybe even more. Like there's some people that I've met that can drop to like extreme lows and jump up even higher than I can. I'm just like, how do
Well,
you do that?
as a kid, I didn't do like voices, but I did accents. So that's why I could, because I could do the Kenny Cake
Ah,
Fiona voice for like 12 hours a day. It didn't matter. I never
mhm.
strained my voice because I used to do accents. I could do like British and like stupid ass voices all the time.
Mhm.
Any voice that's like gravely like that, that would fuck up my voice. So I never do any voices like that or really high
Oh, you
pitched.
mean something like this?
Yeah, I would never do voices like that. I will only do like just accents because it's really easy for me. So that's why I could do the Kenny Kekona voice for so long. Um, but I'll consider it. I just have to think. The problem is I live with my parents, so they're like, "What the fuck are you doing? Why do you sound like?"
Oh yeah, that's the biggest like inhibitor there. I For you then, is ever a time like your parents are gone, in which case I would
Um,
try and do it specifically then.
yeah,
Or like doing car rides. Like car rides are like the best place to practice things.
just do it on the bus. Everyone's staring at me.
Uh,
Uh, I mean, is there any crack kids on there? What are they gonna? Some guys talking like a chick? What the hell? No, in the shower. There you go. No one listens to you when you're in the
the
shower.
shower works too.
Yeah. What are you doing extra long in the shower for? You talking to somebody? You singing?
Just say you're singing.
Yeah, true, true. Yo, thanks Asheneer for the host slash raid. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. All right, well,
Well, this has been really
yeah,
fun.
I was about to say. Do you have anything you want to quickly wrap up? Shout out, you know, shout out your Twitter, Twitch, anything you want to like advertise, like, hey, Cows Row or something. I don't, whatever. You know what I mean?
Well, there's a couple projects that I highly encourage people to look into. That would be Ascension Academy. You don't even necessarily have to look at just my perspective because everyone has a really beautiful character that have really awesome stories going in.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to check out my stuff specifically, though, it's Miss underscore Universe, exactly as you would think. I stream every Monday, Thursday, and Saturday. I might start doing it more, but nothing confirmed yet.
Mm-hmm.
Callus Row is eventually going to be starting up on Fridays, and I'll see how that goes.
Mm-hmm.
If people really enjoy it, then I'll stream it more. If not, then you can catch me on other people's perspectives. But either way, it's been lovely. Thank you so much
Of
for having
course.
me.
I appreciate it. Thanks so much for stopping by.
Mhm.
You know, for being available for this and talking so much about roleplay because I feel like it's something that doesn't get a lot of attention. I feel like uh,
Mhm.
a lot of people are in roleplay, but they never really talk about it. They only maybe only talk about it to their
Yes.
stream, and that's about it. And I feel like having a talk show like this gives an opportunity for more
Mhm.
people to have eyes on it and understand it. So yeah, I really do
Oh
appreciate
yes,
it.
especially as far as like the mechanics go, beyond just seeing people doing it,
Hmm.
because there's a lot of thought that goes into that sort of thing.
Exactly. All right, I'm gonna wrap it up here. I'm gonna change the camera to on myself. All right, thank you guys so much. Again, our guest was Miss Universe, so I appreciate her for stopping by and telling me so much. And yeah, thank you so much everyone for watching. Thank you so much for everyone following and everything. I know I didn't really say anything like that, but when you're doing interviews and stuff like that, I can't just like stop the stream and start thanking subs and stuff. You know what I mean? But I appreciate you. Thank you so much. All right. There's one last thing that I would like you and I to do, and that is I like to take
Oh,
a selfie with every single guest. So
oh, sure.
yeah, let me get going and change
Oh,
scenes
oh,
and.
I see.
Eh,
Oh, pardon me a second. It appears that my full body is might be. Oh, it was just a little bit. I just need to recalibrate. That's all. There we are.
and then we switch it. We go like this. Boom. This is also how you do the social medias. Boom. There you go. We'll take one more. Always take two. Pro tip.
Always take two.
There you go. I got it. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Here's your head pats and cuddles. It's all about giving love and appreciation.
Yeah.
Of course.
By the way, I love that I didn't notice this before, but your model actually has like 3D eyelashes that pop